Hello, everyone. It is December 10th, 10:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be my first little overview video of a little self-produced docu-series I'm working on, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. I am actually going to document somewhat a live time thing I'm working on, I guess is what you can say, a little project that has entered my office here. So I am under contract ×2, so I can't give specifics, but I do think this is such an important topic that I wanted to shed light on it. And when I conclude what my contract specifies, I will be presenting my case up the correct channels within the government's media, etc., to be able to further shed light on this, what I would consider one of the most dangerous intelligence gathering operations of modern time. So with that being said, this is just going to be a brief overview of why I'm doing this and the importance and significance of it in kind of what it is I'm talking about. And what I'm referring to is like the Facebook phenomenon, I guess I would call it, of the "Are we dating the same guy?" Facebook groups, apps, and copycat groups, I guess would be the best way to say it. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, lucky you. It means your life hasn't yet been ruined by it. But what they are these closed, private, most of the time Facebook groups, but there are apps, there are websites, there are like Telegram groups, other things like it. But the most prominent one is Facebook. And they're these closed, private, cult-like groups for women. There's only women that are allowed in there, where women can go and gather intelligence on men that they are potentially going to date or are dating or have dated or whatever the situation is, or if they want to warn other women about threats, things like that. Now, most people are probably thinking at this particular moment, wow, that sounds like a great thing and a needed service. And my answer to you is this. My only goal of this is not to take sides, not to try to discern people's motives or, have personal vendettas dealt with, anything like that. My only goal is to protect the integrity of information. And I think that is my overall theme of my life here currently, because my new favorite phrase, quite frankly, is data is cheap, discernment is priceless. Anybody can say anything. Anybody can get anything as far as information and data is concerned. But there is a very select group of people out there in the real world that can accurately discern that data, discern that information, discern whether it's true and false, and also how to use it ethically, accurately, etc. So that's my purpose here with this. Now, are we dating the same guy? Claim number one is that these are organic Facebook groups. So they are set up where it's multiple groups per city. So for example, the one in my area that I'm blocked from, are we dating the same guy? I think it's Horry County or Myrtle Beach. So they're all over the states. They're all over different counties within a specific state, and then it's also international. So it's broken down by geographical locations, which leads people to assume that these are decentralized groups, and that's actually not the case. So Are We Dating the Same Guy is a corporation. It is a registered corporation in the state of Delaware. In the year 2023, the first business, if you will, that was registered in the state of Delaware was Safety Inc., which is kind of I would call it the network, if you will, the tech network behind the Are We Dating the Same Guy, the mother company. And then the one underneath that, which was registered about a month or two later in 2023, I believe, which is Are We Dating the Same Guy Inc. These are both registered corporations, incorporated, meaning they need to have certain criteria met, like minutes, board meetings and minutes, things like that, in the state of Delaware. Now, they are both not in good standing with the state of Delaware due to tax issues. I believe the Are We Dating the Same Guy Inc. owes $152,000 in unpaid franchise taxes because they are, in fact, a trademarked franchise. I can't stress that enough. As of right now, they seem that they don't have any corporate protection and are, in fact, violating Delaware law by still choosing to conduct business and collect funds under that title. The story, if you will, behind this is that some Paola Sanchez, I have yet to confirm if she's real, but we are working on that behind the scenes. I have, okay, I won't say what I have, but I have people working on that in the tech world to figure out who this is. This even a real person? She claims that she woke up one day and she decided that women needed to have a safe haven to date. Okay, so instead of like creating a nonprofit or blah blah blah, she created a corporation incorporated in the state of Delaware where she doesn't live. If you know anything about Delaware, I'll just leave that alone. But that's the scenario. So it is a trademarked corporation. It raises money for allegedly things like legal fees, allegedly things like app development, stuff like that. I believe there is a website. I believe there are certain things that are like $5 a month that you could pay for. I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's a scam personally, but I'm not going to get into that. I will prove that eventually. It is a fraudulent entity, and she's a con artist, but if she's even real. But there's a far dangerous implication here, far more dangerous implication here, and that's why I'm discussing it. So the real problem that I have with these groups is, number one, like I said, they do not protect the integrity of information. Anybody can go on there under a false alias. Well, first of all, let's talk about let's talk about it. You join from your actual identity, your actual Facebook account, okay? You go on there, you can interact with these posts, you can post a guy that you're trying to find information on, or you can search, or you can, comment, etc. Now, once you're in these groups, you don't have to comment under your identity. You can comment anonymously, or you can comment under a nickname with a cute little profile emoji there, so that the other posters don't know who you are, so that in the event that somebody screenshots this and sends it back to the man that is being talked about, the person's is protected. Now, I this is not something I agree with, which is why I am coming on here on a video and not just a Facebook post, because I don't do anonymous. I stand behind what I say, and I'm not scared for my safety ever, and I don't understand the pack mentality that most women have, so I can't comment on that, but I guess their line of thought is that there's safety in numbers. I don't run in packs, so I don't get that, but more power to you, I guess, if that's how you operate. So they can post anonymously, and on the surface level, that looks like protection for them. But there's a problem with this. Nothing is truly anonymous. So in the event that there is a lawsuit and you are one of these anonymous posters posting on this page, or you're the original poster, your information will be subpoenaed. Not only that, the admins and the moderators, again, who are not locally organically grown, who are corporations, can also see your true identity. So what's the solution? Which brings me to my next point. People then say, okay, well, I'll go on there under a fake profile, which just proves my point about the lack of integrity about the information. So now you have the potential for anybody to go on there, gather intelligence to blackmail people, gather or persuade the public opinion, if you will. Very powerful use of that, which I've personally documented. Which can lead to undermining things like litigation, which I'll get to in a minute. But long of the short, I'm under several fake profiles because I'm blocked under my real one, because the second you start asking questions, you are banished. You are sent to the outskirts of the group, never to be seen or heard from again. You're blocked by admins. You're blocked by moderators. If you present one shred of evidence saying, hey, this isn't true, here's the proof, can you take this post down? You are banished from the cult. Left out in the cold, by yourself, unprotected by the group. Okay? That's what happens to you. And sometimes you're even bullied. Sometimes you're even called nasty things like a pick-me girl, which is a new phrase to me that I've been called multiple times. And I guess what that means is you are protecting bad men because you want to be chosen by them. And I would just like to set the record straight now very clearly. I don't want to be picked by anyone. First of all, I do the picking, okay? I'm not worried about being picked, thank you. In the event that I did not want to be single, which I do, I would then go and pick somebody, which I have not done because I don't want to be in a relationship. So yeah, no, not a pick me. That's not what it's about. But anyway, so long of the short, you are socially barred from these groups. Like you're socially barred from the pack, okay? Vanished. Which brings me to my point of, you can go on there with a fake profile. So anybody with a fake profile can go on these things and say anything anonymously, and it influences things. So let's take the case of, I'll just give a hypothetical, a judge or a lawyer that is in active litigation, or a high-level businessman who is having a dispute with a partner or something like that, who is in litigation, like very costly litigation, or has a prominent role in society that's controversial, has a lot of enemies. Somebody there, like an enemy, like even a guy, can go on there and say anything they want, and now it influences public opinion. It's a problem. It undermines the judicial system. It's dangerous. Foreign actors can go on there, start using information about military members. It's very dangerous. I consider it one of the most underrated national security threats of our time. Then, where is this data going? And that's my next question. This company, because that's what it is acting like a data broker, okay? It is, I'm not going to get into that yet, but it's acting like a data broker. It is asking for your permission to store your data and the data of what you're posting. It is collecting information as a business on people that it's not doing business with, which is the definition of a data broker. So that's scary. And who is behind this? Who is Paola Sanchez? I have a lot of questions about that. Who is this girl? Who does she work for? Is she a spy? Is she foreign intel? I have a lot of questions, and I don't think I'm that far off on asking them. Then you have the problem of the copycats. So you have this franchise corporation collecting data on millions of men and millions of women. Then you have the copycats who use the name and the branding to profit. So for example, this I will give details, because this wasn't, I'll give a little bit of details on this. There's a group that popped up here in Myrtle Beach called Are We Dating the Same Guy Myrtle Beach? It was founded because the admin and the founder of this group, who lives out in Conway, was mad at her boyfriend because he didn't want to marry her. And he was playing the field, I guess is the best way to say it. Dating around, not taking women seriously, and this angered her because she wanted to be picked, but she wasn't. So instead of going to therapy, healing, things like that, she decided that she's going to start this group with branding that was not hers, with a trademark branding that wasn't hers, and blast him. So she states on the post very clearly that he was responsible with his picture. He's responsible for her founding the group. Now, I have met with her in person. I have tried to get her to see the error of her ways. Initially, she did listen and she did take the page down. It has since been reactivated under a different name. The same post is up. But during that conversation of me trying to be understanding, to be honest with you, trying to tell her, like, hey, I see your pain. I'm sorry for you. I hope you can heal, but this isn't the way to go about it. She admitted to me that on that post that she had posted to found this group, she had her friends go on there acting like they weren't her friends to comment about him with false things to make him seem worse than he actually is. So she engaged in deception. She engaged in telling lies, or at least asking others to tell lies to ruin somebody's reputation. Now, this group has thousands and thousands of members because it was started with riding the coattails of this franchise version, which is already in the same guy, which at that time had like national media coverage and everybody knew about it. Like I said, she has since changed the title, but she's still collecting money under that franchise that's not hers. Oops, I guess blocking me didn't work because I am blocked on her personal page. She has blocked my phone number. She has blocked me from that group. She called him after I dealt with her, and I won't get into that, but that was started to slander somebody as a personal vendetta. And it now has all of these members. She's now soliciting money under the fundraising campaign of marketing businesses, sponsorship ads, that sort of thing, with that same branding. Yikes. So it becomes this other problem of, in one way, it is decentralized because you have these copycats that pop up for the wrong reasons. Even if the founder of the original franchise was well-intentioned, there's some founders that are not. They're not well-intentioned. And so that's the reality of it. So what I'm getting at, and like I said, the purpose for all of this is just to start to shed light on the very serious problems that the judicial system almost doesn't know how to deal with this space yet. The judicial system is still very far behind, not good at dealing with the internet space. What do you do when it's, a corporation that's collecting data on people who are volunteering it? There's no filtering apparatus. And if you go on there as a real investigator, you are blocked. If you go on there speaking anything outside of what they want to hear, and there's a whole page of rules, you are banished from that society, and you are deemed unworthy to be protected by the group. So, this is video number 1. There will be more to follow. And like I said, when I am done, when I've concluded what I need to conclude, this will all be my case that is being built in several layers, will be documented and brought up through the proper channels, and I will outline everything that I have found, everything that I have seen as far as violations are concerned, personal experiences, etc. And my main goal, honestly, is just to try to convince women that these groups are not in your best interest. They're not protecting you. In fact, you're exposing yourself to data leaks. You're exposing yourself to being influenced by people who don't have you in your safety, as their best interest. You are being fed a false sense of security. There's there's groups, there's people on these groups that claim to teach how to do background checks, and it's just completely false. And I'm not saying this as somebody who wants to make money off of background checks. I'm not saying you have to hire me to do due diligence. I typically don't even take low-level background checks at this point in my career. I only deal with high net worth due diligence on business partners and whatnot, but high-level litigation. But there are investigators out there that would be happy to help you do actual research and background checks and discern the data rather than just collect it, and not give you that false sense of security that you're going into something with an inaccurate view, or you're going into something blind because you took bad advice on how to actually do due diligence. So that's where I'm at right now. I will continue this and look for the next one.